Welcome back to the Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Got Frank Granett on. He's with a great organization that's making a profound difference on people's lives when it comes to dealing with one of the more common problems, more pervasive problems in our culture today, which is ADHD. His group, CAOOY.org. He's also CAOOY.org. They are partnering with us at Price of Business with our ongoing series that we're doing called the Price of ADHD Business. And it's been a lot of fun. We're having a lot of fun, and really we've only just begun. Isn't that right, Frank?
Yeah, basically, Kevin, we've only just begun because there's a lot of powerful and influential physicians, healthcare people, as well as people in business, Kevin, that realize ADHD is not just the only thing we're going after. We're talking about behavioral health, and we want to strengthen behavioral health wealth with business as well as in the family unit. And what we've got, in our past guests as well as our upcoming guests in the weeks ahead, just tremendous lineup of people with great information and getting to that root cause of behavioral problems. And we talk about physiological, nutritional, and environmental risk factors before we go to drug therapy, and it's making a profound difference across the country.
Yeah, no question about it. No question about it. Let me ask you, because you've got a background and formal education and credentials in pharmacology. It's a little contrarian for you to become this kind of advocate. What happened that led to you into this form of advocacy?
Well, my passion, Kevin. My son at age 20, he lost his best friend Jeremiah due to bipolar disease and suicide, and the simple problem that was overlooked is a physiological problem that he had a closed head injury due to multiple concussive injuries while he was playing sports throughout his high school career. He had a track scholarship, full ride to Oakland University here in Michigan. And what had happened was, he developed behavioral issues, and within a year, Kevin, it just went in basically a huge downward spiral because they were flooding him with antidepressant, antipsychotic meds without going after, this root cause risk factors, and one of which is, and we see that in the news today, where a lot of our famous sports people are having behavioral problems because of these multiple types of concussive injuries.
Right, no question about it. And you're raising the sound of alarm about the way you treat it in general.
Exactly, and we had a great guest on our program last week, Dr. Benoit, who's an internationally known psychiatrist. Now, these are physicians in the past, Kevin, which would go to drugs first, normally do a behavioral assessment, and then put a child on drug therapy first. Well, she recognizes that's not the prudent course anymore. We've just, basically discussed that, and in our USDailyReview.com section of the website that we got coming up in the article, we're going to go over these risk factors and make sure people out there understand, and as well as the corporate world, to understand with their employees. We want to make them behaviorally sound, and the only way you can do that is get to the root cause before we go to drugs.
No question about it. No question about it. Talking to Frank Granett, we are doing our ongoing series on the Price of ADHD Business. By the way, if you go to USDailyReview.com, click the business section, or even scroll down the business section, you'll see that logo there. Kevin Price presents the Price of ADHD Business with Frank Granett, and the most recent article, Stress Relief and Nutrition. That was a great segment we did.
Yeah, the nutritional end of it, Kevin, and, when we look at these risk factors, nutrition is huge, and it's just not what we're taking into our bodies. It's whether our bodies are eliminating free radical toxins every day. And people don't understand that, okay, if I'm changing my diet a little bit and I'm kind of eating more healthy, yeah, that's one step. But what we're talking about is supplementation, and we talk about enzyme nutritionals, we talk about these types of nutritional supplementations that can actually help your body every day gradually help yourself remove toxins. And that's the critical piece, because nutrition is about absorbing good nutrients but also eliminating toxins, and that can contribute to behavioral problems over a long period of time. And it creeps up on you. You and I, we're in our 50s, if you will, but the thing is, we have to realize that this can strike a child at age 3 and 4, and we're seeing that all across the board. You know, we have a Johns Hopkins study that came out last year. It proves that. That's one of the risk factors for behavioral problems in young kids. So, you know, there's a whole multitude of assessments out there, and, you know, we're going to pin them down on the next article at usdailyreview.com. You're going to see the knowledge that you need to go forward, whether you're, you know, a corporate owner or a family member or the head of a household. This is information you need if you suspect any type of behavioral challenge.
Yep, absolutely. And I'm excited about it. Like I said, we've only just begun to scratch the surface. Tell us about some of the other segments and articles that we have in the works.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Kevin. Next week, your listeners will want to tune in because Dr. Mary Ann Block, she's out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, a renowned osteopathic physician. She has a program. It's called SAVE, S-A-V-E. It's a very simple program. It deals with sensory, auditory, and visual perception type of dysfunctionality that she's finding in her practice. That is just when she developed this program, and it helps kids rebound. It's a phenomenal program. She's going to discuss all about that next week in our segment, and that's just one of many we got coming forward.
Yeah, very, very exciting, and we're going to cover the whole spectrum. We're going to talk about the distortions that take place because of the economic incentives to keep people on drugs that can be somewhat dangerous. I'm sure we'll be talking about the, people going to various doctors, getting various types of drugs, some of which those drugs are waging wars on one another. I mean, there's a lot of different angles, aren't there, Frank?
Well, there's a huge amount of angles, and that's what we do at our nonprofit, Kevin. It's CAOOY.org, is basically help families, help businesses, or even help individuals understand how you go about and how you navigate with these assessments. They're very simple. For a perfect example, we have a University of Michigan star athlete who basically succumbed to behavioral challenge, depression, etc., and just went in a downward spiral. And he came to us after going through brainwave optimization. We're going to have a segment on that. It's just an exciting, dramatic. It's helping tons of people. But anyways, with the brainwave plus the nutritional intervention in spinal, upper cervical, and that's critical in the neck region. That's where our brainstem feeds into the first and second vertebrae. Very critical in behavioral health, and many people do not realize how important that is. And this 24-year-old just is rebounding like no other. He's doing phenomenal, and this is just one of many. And the information has to get out there, and people need to understand why it's important.
Tell us a little bit about your organization as we wrap up the segment.
Yeah, Coalition Against Over-Medicating Our Youth, Kevin, we're not against drug therapy. We're for prudent use of drug therapy. So what I do across the country is consult with educators, consult with parents on a daily basis. I mean, we have so many clients now where they just want the information on how to navigate through this assessment process. And I typically get, students and even young adults that are at their last rope, if you will, as far as intervention with drug therapy. And what we do is help them with these assessments, what to do. It's an action plan. It's a straightforward action plan to get them on the right path.
Very cool. I think it's fantastic, and I love your background. It's hard for people to dismiss someone with your background as someone who's just someone who's anti-medicine or anti-science or whatever. You actually bring a lot of reality, a lot of real-world reality outside of the textbook to one of the most important issues I think facing people today.
Yeah, and you know what, Kevin? The new book is just coming out. It'll be released July 1st this year from Amazon.com out of New York City, Morgan James Publishing. It's The American Epidemic. And this book is going to be a straightforward book, and just what we talked about, that action plan, what do I do next? And it helps that parent or even a business, if they're developing health and wellness programs, how to navigate through that process. So it's on our website at CAOOY.org. You can get that now through our website, and it's free shipping for all your listeners as well.
Really good. I'll give that website for you one more time, and we're going to call it the segment.
Yeah, we'll call it CAOOY.org, and happy to be with you and your media arrangement, Kevin, this is going to be explosive. We got a lot of healthcare professionals and businesses coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. When we come back, much more for you. I do want to remind you, best content here shows up over there, including this great interview at usdailyreview.com, and this is The Price of Business.